Hi everybody, my name is Mr. Francy and welcome back to Mr. Francy Reads. Today we are going to be doing my reading vlog, talking all the books that I've read between the 15th and the 27th of January 2023. Now, I wanted to be more regular with uploading reading vlogs this month. It just hasn't worked out, so I do apologize about that, but that's okay. We're more than making up for it today. I'm going to be discussing with you all 4 books that I completed within the span of that time, and a 5th book that I have started. I'm also going to be discussing some comments that you all have been leaving on my channel, because that's something that I like to do when we do reading vlogs. So, not a lot of time to discuss all that, so let's just jump right on in. Okay, so gonna start off with this book that we'll put up on the screen, Latte Trouble by Cleo Coyle. This is book number 3 in the Coffee House Mystery series, and I gave this book 3 stars. Now, so in this particular one, we continue to follow our protagonist, whose name is Claire Cosey. Claire runs a cafe, and this whole series is extremely coffee to the umpteenth degree. If you love coffee, you will love this cozy mystery series, because Cleo Coyle is always putting in little bits of advice, tidbits, hidden gems that you may or may not have known about coffee. It is fantastic. I love my coffee, so it works for me. But in this particular one, Claire is at the cafe. They are hosting what sounds to me like an after party for Fashion Week, or a before party, I don't know. Anyway, someone ends up dying, and they find out that this person was poisoned by a latte that they were given. So the barista who works for Claire is considered the #1 suspect, but Claire knows deep within her heart that there's no way this guy committed the murder, so she does everything she can to try and determine who the actual murderer is. This, I have to be honest, because on my channel I am extremely transparent. If you're here for the first time, hello, welcome. My name is Mr. Francy. I am transparent to a fault. Anyway, this is my least favourite of all of the Coffee House Mystery series so far. I can't specifically pinpoint what it is. All I can say is I found myself to be a little bit bored here and there, and it felt like a bit of a task to get through the book, which I haven't had that experience for a long time, and I definitely did not have that experience with the first 2 books in the series, so it did let me down, and therefore got the average rating of 3 stars. But that's okay, because the rest of the books that I read, including book number 4, the next book in this series, was fantastic. So, now let's jump in and talk about some comments that you all have left. I'm going to say right here at the 3-minute mark, I'd like to not go for half an hour in this video, so let's try and get through these comments quickly. Okay, the first one is from Bumble Bunny, and Bumble Bunny it has commented on my December 2022 wrap by saying, I have to make a list of books to buy. They sound awesome. My favourite book of 22 was The Curious Charms of Arthur Pepper. Oh, I have not read that one. I should definitely look into it. Yeah, I find that making lists definitely helps me, and I hope that it helps you. Thank you for your comment. The Witchy Reader commented on my 2023 Buddy Reads video saying, have fun with these Buddy Reads. Thank you. Her name is Johara. Thank you, Johara. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to all the Buddy Reads that we're going to be getting through this year. If you have not heard of all the buddy reads that we plan to do, we have, I think, like 4 or 5 different buddy reads that we're doing that will last most of, if not the entire year. And I do have a video for that one. I do not remember what that video was called. It was called 2023 Buddy Reads. So yeah, please do feel free to check that out. Johara also commented on my December wrap saying, awesome wrap up. Thank you, Johara. And on my reading vlog, my latest reading vlog prior to this one, saying awesome vlog. Thank you. Pat has commented on my reading vlog saying, yay, it was a fun surprise to get a shout out in the video, and she left some sparkly hearts. Oh, you're very welcome, Pat. Thank you for your beautiful comments. I love seeing everyone's comments, and Pat, a specific shout out to you. I always enjoy reading your comments every time I see them. I love how specific they are to certain things that have affected you in one way or another, and I love how detailed they are as well. So thank you, Pat. I always enjoy reading them. Pat says, I'm currently reading Death of a Country Fried Redneck. Yes! Oh my gosh. Book number 2 in the Hayley Powell Food and Cocktail Mystery Series, which is one of the buddy reads we're doing. Such a great book. I loved that one. And Pat says, and loving it. Yay! I love that Hayley is a single mum, Pat goes on to say, dealing with her teenage kids while juggling work and solving a murder. LOL. It is something I haven't seen in a cozy before. I love it too. I love this series so far for so many reasons, but one of the biggest reasons is that it celebrates a single mother raising 2 children. It is absolutely wonderful. That is something I should talk a lot more about when I discuss this series, Pat, so thank you for that. Pat goes on to say, I am also reading Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell for a work book club, and honestly, I'm not enjoying it that much. I read a Rainbow Rowell, which... Sorry, that's my automatic air freshener in the background. I keep forgetting to turn it off. I read, what was it, Carry On? I think this was in 2020, so it was a long time ago. I really looked forward to reading Carry On. It was set at this boarding school. It was a male fantasy romance, if that makes sense. And so like a magic boarding school with magic people and a gay romance. And it was like, to the umpteenth degree up my alley, and it just did not work for me. So I'm so sorry that this one's not working for you. She says, Pat says, I'm not enjoying it that much. I can relate to the main character, Kath, and her love for her fandom and connection to fictional characters and their worlds, but I haven't connected to Kath's world very much, and that makes me sad. Aww. I'm so sorry to hear that, Pat. I hope that your next read is more enjoyable, and I also hope that you continue to enjoy Death of a Country Fried Redneck. Oh, yay. I love that series so much. Alright, let's move on to the next book that I read during the span of time that this reading vlog is for, and we'll put it up on the screen. It was this book, Have I Told You This Already, by Lauren Graham. Okay, for those of you who don't know, Lauren Graham, among many other things that she has done in her life, starred in the hit TV show Gilmore Girls as, well, in my opinion, the main character, Lorelai Gilmore, the single mother of a child. And there's a lot more that I won't say because I'll spoil the series, but I love Gilmore Girls. I fell in love with this show very quickly when I first started watching it, and I grew to love Lorelai Gilmore very early on. And so finding out that Lauren Graham, who plays Lorelai, had released a memoir many years ago called Talking as Fast as I Can. I read that book. I absolutely loved it. So then to find out she released a second one, I was very excited. And once again, Lauren Graham did not let me down. I end up giving this book a full 5 stars, and let me tell you why. While it is a memoir, it feels more like having a discussion with a dear friend, as opposed to reading a book and feeling a separation between yourself and the narrator or the author of the book. In the case of Lauren's memoirs, it literally feels like she has sat you down and is having a discussion with you. She makes it feel so personable, and I just love that about her. If I were ever to want to have a friendship with any celebrity out there, it would be Lauren Graham. Oh my gosh. So back in the day, I used to do a lot of writing, and I think someone has written a comment somewhere that we'll get to soon talking about wanting me to discuss writing more on this channel. And it is something that I am considering doing more videos on. But back in the day, I wrote a series called the Fighting for No Reward series, and the protagonist, whose name is Andy, had a best friend whose name is Lauren, and Lauren was very much based off of Lauren Graham. I would love to have Lauren Graham as a best friend. I just think that we would kick ass. I think we would be the best of friends. And this book did not let me down at all. I highly recommend it. It was absolutely fantastic. Alright, so I gave that one an overwhelming 5 stars. Let's mention another book because I don't have the physical copy of this one on me and I might forget about it. So after I finished Have I Told You This Already, I picked up a book that was not on my TBR, and that's because I was in the mood to read another memoir, and this is a memoir I've been wanting to read ever since it was published, and that is this book, Sorry Not Sorry by Naya Rivera. So I have been wanting to read this for a very long time, it just hasn't happened, but I was very much in the mood for another memoir and recalled that I've been wanting to read it for a long time, so decided let's just add it to my TBR, and I read it very, very quickly. I think either in the space of a day or over the space of 2 days, something like that. I ended up giving this book 4 stars. Now, Naya Rivera has done many things, or had, unfortunately, rest her soul. Unfortunately, Naya's not with us anymore, but Naya had done a lot in her life prior to releasing this book, but she was arguably most well known for playing, Santana Lopez in the hit TV show Glee, and there'd been a lot of discussion out there about this book and how much Naya went into detail about Lea Michele, who played the protagonist role in the Glee series of Rachel Berry, and how Naya was saying a lot of horrible things about Lea Michele. Now, so I admit that what the media had said, I got caught up in all of that hype and I wanted to know what Naya had said about Lea, but I was also interested to learn more about Naya because I didn't know anything really about her at all other than the fact that she was on Glee. For the side of getting to know Naya because it is a memoir, I did love this book. So I thought it was very interesting reading about her life and the lessons she learned as she was growing up. I think it's an intriguing read and I do recommend it. For the side of any part of you that might be one of those that go, ooh, gossip and drama, dish, 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 you might be a bit let down. I feel like the media definitely blew this book completely took it, out of context, blew it out of proportion, because there's not a lot she says about Lea Michele. There are some things here and there that she might say that are a bit like, oh yeah, she did this and I don't know if I agree with that, but it certainly wasn't written, at least in my opinion, with any malicious intent. It was just more, okay, here's something that just so happened to happen, and she just so happened to be there. This is what I experienced. I don't know if I agree with that, but it is what it is. Let's move on. So I definitely did not feel malicious intent at all from Naya Rivera when she was writing this book. But anyway, I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was a good read. Just don't go into it if you're thinking you're going to get a whole lot of drama about Lea Michele, because you're not. But reading about Naya's life up to that point and what she had gone through and all the lessons she had learned, I found to be very informative and very entertaining. So I gave the book 4 stars. Alright, let's get to some more comments. Andrea commented on my reading vlog from last time saying, I just finished Death in Door County. Death in Door County. The main character runs an oddities shop and sometimes hunts cryptids. That was so unique. It sounds unique. There were a couple of parts that were more graphic than I expected, but I still felt like it was within the bounds of a cozy. Excellent. The romance was just barely starting and also done well. Nice. Always good when we have a good romance. The investigation was all about the cryptids, so the ending was a little abrupt. Okay. Interesting. I also finished an arc of Against the Current by Olivia Matthews. I haven't heard of that one, but it's an arc, so there you go, that doesn't surprise me. It was so cozy and comforting. Oh, that's awesome! It was everything I expect in a cozy. Family support, yummy bakery. Oh, I'm always up for a yummy bakery cozy. Sassy grandma, yes, I'm up for that too. And a few things I didn't expect in a cozy. Okay, 3 things I didn't expect. Kickboxing and the body was off the page. It also left room for some character growth with the detectives in the next one. Excellent. Now I'm on to Dead and Gondola. So far there is a Ouija board and a snowstorm at a bookstore. Perfect. Oh, it does sound good, Andrea. Thank you for your comment, and wow, sounds like you've been reading some really, really interesting, fascinating books. Nice. Pat commented on my What is a Reading Sprint video. And Pat gave 3 sparkly hearts. Thank you, Pat. Saying, I've jumped in on a few sprints, but most are held in the evening, so I get super sleepy and never get reading done. Haha. What I do is just watch past live show sprints in the mornings with a nice cup of coffee. I think that is a great idea, and I can understand that a lot of the sprints are done at nighttime, especially over in the US or other side of the world. For me, the sprints take place during the day, during the morning to the afternoon, because of time zones. And so that works really well for me, but I can understand, Pat, how them being in the evening may not necessarily work for you. But that's a wonderful compromise. I've definitely done that before in the past, where I've done a replay and watched a reading sprint delayed, whether I would read along with the reading sprint or just watch it, as you say, while waking up with my morning coffee. So yeah, fantastic, Pat. And Pat says, also, I'd love to hear anything you'd love to talk about writing or writing projects. Yay! Thank you, Pat. So yeah, that's what I was referring to earlier. I knew someone had commented about writing and wanting me to talk more about writing. I would definitely love to do that, Pat. If you have anything specific about writing that you'd like for me to discuss, please do let me know. I'm currently not writing. I mean, I currently have a book project that I'm working on that I haven't worked on since I got this current job that I have. But I would love to go back to it. I am thinking about this book that I am in the middle of constantly, and not just about the main characters, but the world building that has come with this book. It's a cozy mystery book. I have had this world building in my mind for at least 10-15 years now, and I'm constantly thinking about it and thinking, oh my gosh, I just want to go back to writing this book. So thank you, Pat. Please do let me know of any specifics that you'd like for me to discuss. Cozy has left on my What is a Reading Sprint 3 sparkly hearts. Thank you, Cozy. You all know how much I love my sparkly hearts. Jane left on my What is a Reading Sprint, which Jane's channel name is The Reading Nook. She says, I love doing reading sprints. Yay, me too. I get so much read and I like chatting with everyone. Me too. A lot of the time I'll join in when I'm getting ready for bed. I almost always fall asleep. It's funny that you say that, Jane, because I was discussing that with my mother yesterday, who we call Mama Francy, and I was saying to, because we'd gotten to a point yesterday, I was hosting a sprint, and it seemed like everyone had gone. And Mama Francy said to me, well, is that normal? And I said, well, Mama Francy, you need to realize that it's, nighttime in America. It's when people are sleeping. So generally, what I find with my sprints, people are so dedicated to the sprint that they will not leave until they say something along the lines of, I feel like my eyes are closing and I just cannot keep them open anymore, so I'm gonna go to bed. So I feel like it's the last thing you all do before you go to sleep when you come to my sprints, and I just really appreciate that. It is so lovely. So thank you. And thank you, Jane, for your beautiful comment. Alright, let's jump over to the next book that I read. And that was this book, Murder Most Frothy by Cleo Coyle. This is book number 4 in the Coffee House Mystery series, and unlike book number 3, I gave this book 4.5 stars. This was fantastic. So Claire ends up being hired to go and work in I think it was the Hamptons. Yes. I just had to take a look at the back of the book there to remember where it was. She ends up being hired to work in East Hampton because she knows someone who wants her to work there as a barista, and many things go down. This is in a rich area in the Hamptons, so there's like a lot of celebrities and rich and famous people and all that. And at one point during this party that we've opened up the book with, that's being held at this mansion where she's working, the host has gone somewhere, and she goes to try and find him. She realizes that his bathroom door is closed. She knocks on it. She's not getting any sort of a response. So she says to the host, okay, I'm coming in. Just, be ready. I'm coming in. And she finds a dead body on the floor, thinking that it is the host. Well, it's not the host. It is someone else, but it is someone who, from a very far away angle, may look like the host. So there are a lot of different suspects that have come up for who has committed this murder for this particular person that we didn't know up to this point. But Claire is fully convinced that the actual motive, the intention, was to murder the her employer, the guy who employed her. I just loved this. I loved having the setting of being in the Hamptons. It was very different. I do love the consistency of staying in whatever area we're normally in, but I felt like with the Coffee House Mystery Series, we needed something else because it was starting to get a bit dry for me, especially with book number 3, but changing the setting really helped to change things up, and I loved this book. If you didn't like book 3 like I didn't, I highly recommend book 4 because book 4 was so much fun for me. 4.5 stars. You know, I told you all I didn't want to go till half an hour, and I think that's probably going to be inevitable anyway. I try, people! I do try! Okay, next comment on the What is a Reading Sprint video from Andrea, 3 sparkly hearts. Thank you, Andrea! From Ashley Marie on the same video, 3 sparkly hearts again. Thank you. And Ashley Marie goes on to say, 10 minutes seems like an awfully short amount of time to read. I just would be getting into the book at that point. Yeah, I completely agree. And that's why I love, with my reading sprints, I have my warm-up and my cool-down sprints, but my standard sprints will always go for over an hour so that it is more than enough time. You know, you may want time to get prepared and get ready. Maybe you want to get another drink or something like that. In 10 minutes, you know, you may not have even picked up the book yet, as Ashley Marie is saying. So, yeah, it definitely works for me doing the hour-long ones. But, yeah, thank you so much for your comment, Ashley Marie. Pat G commented on my how to reach your reading and channel goals video with 3 sparkly hearts. Thank you. Cav Reeves responded to my What is a Reading Sprint by saying, so the first time I happened on a sprint video, it was during the sprint part, and I couldn't figure out why anyone would want to watch someone else read for 30 minutes. Yes, I can completely understand that, because if it is on booktube and you see whoever's hosting and whoever else is there, you're literally just watching people reading. And you're not hearing anything, you're just seeing them read. And it's like, okay, what is going on here? Cav goes on to say, what a boring video, right? And then Cav is laughing after that. Says, it took me a while to figure it out. Yeah, exactly. And that's why I feel that if there was a video out there back when you and I, Cav, first were introduced to reading sprints entitled What is a Reading Sprint, I think we would have gotten into them a whole lot faster. Thank you for your comment. Mickey Sock commented on the how to reach your reading and channel goals, saying, lately I've been trying to read books fast to read more books this year, but I end up putting the book down again. So I think I will make it a goal this year to enjoy reading instead of how many books I want to read. Yay! That makes me so happy, Mickey Sock, because that is it. It's about enjoying what you read as opposed to taking that enjoyment and that passion you have and turning it into a task or a job. And so that is so wonderful to hear. Mickey Sock says, this video made me reflect on why I read. Thank you for the tips. And she has a smiley face and a sparkly heart. You are so very welcome, Mickey Sock. Thank you so much for your beautiful comment. I'm so glad. You know, if anything from any of these videos helps anyone, that just makes it all worth it. So thank you so much, Mickey Sock. Stargater says, hi Mr. Francy, you're spot on. Stargater's commenting on my What is a Reading Sprint video. Nice is insulting. Yeah, so what is meant by that is that I was saying when someone hosts a reading sprint and someone has written out an entire paragraph in the chat section of that reading sprint, and that host turns around, reads the entire paragraph and says, nice, and then reads the next comment, which might say, I read 63 pages, and then says, oh, what are you reading? How are you liking it? And it's like, well, hang on, this one wrote a paragraph, this one wrote 2 words, and, you know, maybe they should have more than just the word nice. And this was, for context, if you have not seen that video, this was something that was brought to my attention. A lot of people were saying to me, they find it quite offensive just to hear the response of nice, and I was commenting on that. And Stargazer says, yes, nice is insulting. The first time I clicked on sprints, the host had co-hosts and they were reading. I didn't see any chat and I left after 5 minutes. Oh, there you go. Yeah. I would be the same way if I didn't see any chat. Stargazer goes on to say, I like 45 minutes with a 10 to 15 minute chat. Excellent. Stargazer says, glad you put this out and had 3 sparkly hearts. Oh, you're so welcome, Stargazer. Thank you. Pat G commented on my middle grade versus middle grade video. Oh wow, we're getting to the top now. With 3 sparkly hearts. Thanks, Pat. And Pat says, I love the Nevermore series. Right? How good is that series? If you love Harry Potter and you want something else that is in that same vein, and you don't know where to go, you need to pick up Nevermore. The Nevermore series by Jessica Townsend. It is so good. Pat goes on to say, I'm planning on reading Hollowpox before the new edition to the series comes out this year. That is so excellent, Pat. Oh, I love this series so much. Can't wait to hear what you have to say about Hollowpox. Okay, the next book that I read during the course of this past amount of time that we are filming for was this book, Sam, by Ian Rob Wright. Okay, so very quick backstory. Last year, I read one horror, and we're going to put that horror up on the screen next to Sam, and that is this book, The Housemates by Ian Rob Wright. I love The Housemates. It was so good. If you love your horrors, then let me tell you, The Housemates is a book that is best described as a combination between Big Brother, the reality hit TV show, and Saw, the hit film series that's out there. It is psychologically fantastic. It is adult horror. So, you know, the line is definitely, crossed because it is adult horror. But for a horror, if you're like me and you only go into horrors because you want to read a good horror and not go into horrors because you're just giving horror a go, this is the book for you, The Housemates. So I love that book so much that I decided to go back because I thought it was a standalone, The Housemates. But then I came to find out after I'd read it that it is book 4 in a series. So I decided to go back and read books 1, 2, and 3, and so put them on my SAS list. Sam is book number 1. In this book, it is omniscient narration, but we mainly are following 2 people, which are, oh goodness, Angela and Tim. Yay, I get a cookie for remembering. Angela and Tim. Angela is a recently retired priest who used to do a lot of exorcisms, and Tim is a scientist who is known for debunking a lot of fantastical things that people feel are going on in their home or their place of business. Angela and Tim are hired by a woman whose name is Jessica, who's very concerned about her son because a lot of things have been going on with him that are not normal, and she needs to get to the bottom of this and find out what it is. Her son, Sammy, is incredibly creepy, freaky, seriously, and this is not to say it in a bad way, but this is a horror. Like, I was creeped out, freaked out, on the edge of my seat with this entire read. If you are someone who doesn't mind reading the are they or are they not possessed trope, and you want to read that done well, I highly recommend Sam. It was so good. It had a little bit of a slow start for me, I have to admit, a little bit of a slow start. So I did end up giving it 4.5 stars, but aside from that, once things got going, it was so good. I was so excited all the way through. So I highly recommend that one if you want to read a horror. Alright, on to my latest 2 comments, from Cozy Reading with Michelle, my dear friend Michelle. Thank you for your comment. Commented on middle grade versus middle grade, saying, I'm currently reading a middle grade fantasy, LOL. That is so cool. I'm trying to remember, is it Fablehaven, I think? I know that Michelle is loving that series, so that's probably the one she's talking about. But yeah, exactly. There are some amazing middle grades out there, and so I hope that everyone gets a chance to pick up at least one amazing middle grade in their life. So thank you, Michelle. And Bumble Bummy says, I have a child who has a hard time reading and says she hates almost everything. But if I make her read it out loud to me, she will usually find she likes books. She said Matilda looks stupid, but she loves it. I can't let her pick books or she won't read, LOL. Yeah, and I think, different situations will require different things to happen. And in that particular case, Bumble Bummy, I agree with you. If with your child is saying they don't like reading full stop and that's just how it is, but you pick out a book for them and every time they read out loud, then they find that they love that book, then I understand in that situation why you would be the one that would be picking out the book for your child. I would do the same thing with if my child was exactly the same. I'm just saying for children who are continually complaining about books that they read, And if they had the opportunity to pick it themselves, they may end up enjoying reading from then on, as opposed to having books picked out for them. But yours is a specific situation, and I completely understand why you are doing what you are doing. So thank you very much for your comment. Okay, we're about to run out of time, and I haven't even spoken about the book that I have recently picked up, so let's quickly put it on the screen. It is this book, Beaches, Bungalows and Burglaries by Tonya Kappas. This is book number 1 in the Campers and Criminals series. Okay, I'm going to say this quickly in a nutshell. I'm up to chapter 5. I do not like the narrator. I'm listening to it on audiobook, but I'm loving the story so far. Really, really enjoying it and can't wait to give you all more of an update in my monthly wrap, which will be coming up very, very soon. I did not want to make it to the half-hour mark. You all heard that I didn't want to make it to the half-hour mark, but we have made it there again. So I'll try and make my next video even shorter. We'll see how we go. But in the meantime, that is where I am going to leave it. Let me know what your favorite book of the week is in the comments below. And thank you all again for listening. Letting you all go with peace, blessings, and so much love. Please do be kind and love one another and spread your sparkling energy all throughout the world. And until next time, happy reading. Bye everyone.